It is 9:30 and we will call to order the salary board meeting of the Board of Commissioners and begin with a roll call, please, Desiree.
Commissioner Niedor.
I am here.
Commissioner Bashi.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger. He is on. Let's see.
I'm present.
Okay. Controller Whitcomb.
Here.
Great. Is there any public comment to be made at this time to the salary board? Hearing none, move on to approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, December 5th.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Next up, we have approval of the salary board actions.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board actions as presented.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Is there any other business to come before the salary board at this time?
I have no other.
There's no other business. I'll entertain a motion for
I'll make
adjournment.
a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. We will now go into the Board of Commissioners meeting and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will call this meeting to order and begin with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Niedor.
I am here.
Commissioner Bashi.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Is there any public comment at this time on non-agenda items that anyone would like to make to the Board of Commissioners? We have two gentlemen in the room. I believe they would like to make a public comment. Is that accurate? Okay. Is there anyone online, Desiree?
There's no one online at this moment.
Okay. Gary, could you please mute your phone or your device? No one online at this time?
No.
Okay. We will begin with you. If you could please state your name and you're free to sit wherever you're comfortable.
My name is Eric Fairchild, and I'm here speaking more of myself. I'm a resident of Upper Allen Township, also a commissioner there, elected last year. And I wanted to speak about the Bishop Bridge just briefly to bring you up to date. We had received, and I'm not speaking for our entire board, but received a letter from Mr. Stoner, denying a request for an extension of the time to work on the process of rehabilitating the bridge. And I just wanted to let you know there has been movement. We were trying to work with an artisan shop, a very small firm, it's a small industry, to rehabilitate the bridge the old school way. The bridge is like a giant erector set, and to take it apart, in pieces, reverse order of assembly without using cranes, all this, you save a tremendous amount of money by doing it that way. But it took a while to get the response back from the RFP. We did finally receive that yesterday, the full response, 184 pages, which I'm sure will be forwarded to the county. And, I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I'm trying to look at the bigger picture as a citizen and a commissioner. The county has done a lot of saving the bridges. I went with Craig's Head, worked on the Sheepford Bridge. There's a really nice track record that we're trying to continue. And then the state has a program to manage the bridges. They're disappearing throughout the state. It's very hard to find people to work on them. So I saw it as kind of a prestige project for our township and to lead by example. The cost estimate we have is $850,000 to rehabilitate this bridge versus, I believe, probably $2 million or so from the county side, from the numbers you have received. So, and it would be a way to involve the Messiah University Engineering Department, maybe to do like an apprenticeship of how you can work on these bridges so that we could have a bigger impact. So just want to let you know there is movement, and I agree with the county in some way. You have to either do what or get off the pot, in terms of the township stepping forward, but that has to be a commissioner decision. And we're working on the other ones to hopefully, we're going in that direction. But I just wanted to share what I think is some good news that we're moving forward. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fairchild.
Sir, if you could just state your name, please, then.
Phil Walsh, Upper Allen Township. Sure, I'd like to echo Commissioner or Citizen Fairchild's comments with regards to the Bishop Road Bridge. It's a very exciting project, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. I also wanted to not only echo what Eric referenced, but also to note that next year is Upper Allen Township's 175th anniversary. And we feel that this project would just fit in beautifully with our celebrations that are planned for next year. The ability to restore an historic structure like this and have it opened during these festivities would be just a huge addition to our celebrations. Also, keep in mind that one of the concerns that came up was continuing insurance while this project was ongoing. It's important to note that once it's disassembled, he takes it down piece by piece, puts it on a truck, and then they restore each piece individually. While that's down, there may be some different insurance requirements that may not be as much as what you're currently experiencing. So there may be some other unforeseen cost benefits with regards to the method in which we're proposing to have this done. So I would just like to echo Mr. Fairchild's remarks and would appreciate any consideration you have going forward with regards to our plans for the bridge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walsh.
Thank you.
And is there any other public comment to be made at this time? If there is someone online and you would like to do so, please use the raise your hand feature.
No one online.
No one. Okay, very good. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming here. We will certainly follow this as it goes forward. You are welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but you do not have to. All right, very good. We will then go into, as I always say, the absolute best part of our public meetings.
No, this is great.
We are here and we're going to be recognizing someone who has just been an incredible impact to our county and to specifically for Cumberland Perry Drug and Alcohol. And so I have a proclamation that I'm going to read, and then we will bring Jack Carroll up here. He has served 44 years with the county, which is just tremendous. And so it reads as, whereas Jack Carroll, as a devoted public servant, supported residents battling addiction and has served the county with distinction as an associate drug and alcohol specialist for 16 years, and as director of the Cumberland Perry Drug and Alcohol Commission for 28 years. And whereas Jack played a pivotal role in a myriad of programs, including the founding of the Community Opiate Overdose Prevention Coalition, the creation of the Overdose Intervention Court, the establishment of the Vivitrol program, and the strategic distribution of the opioid settlement funds. And whereas Jack was the driving force behind the Student Assistance Program in the Commonwealth, a resource that helps parents and staff connect children with services who show warning signs of substance use. And whereas Jack's compassionate nature has made a profound impact on individual lives, including that of a 19-year-old struggling with substance use, who is now a thriving professional and has said, Jack Carroll saved my life. And whereas the length of Jack's career and his unwavering dedication to Cumberland County and its residents speaks volumes about his character and commitment. Now, therefore, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners extends its heartfelt congratulations to Jack Carroll for his dedication and passion in helping the residents of Cumberland and Perry counties who have battled substance use. We wish you all the very best in your well-deserved retirement, but will be sorely, sorely missed, Jack. You wouldn't mind coming up? We'd love to get some pictures. After 44 years, we should have been able to gold plate this. Please gold pen. We'll get a couple pictures.
All right, we're good. Thank you.
Jack, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jack. Yeah. Did you want to say any parting words of wisdom?
Saying goodbyes for.
For a little while, yeah. Well, I know your celebration was lovely. There were so many folks from cross section of all of the ways in which you've impacted the community. I also wanted to extend the thanks from our colleagues, the commissioners in Perry County were unable to be here this morning. They had a lunch or a breakfast for, I think, their holiday staff breakfast, but they have deeply appreciated working with you and all that you've done. So
Thank you very much.
thank you, Jack. So enjoy now.
Before
Enjoy.
we excuse him, do you mind if I?
No, you want a
Yeah,
picture?
Yeah, just one more picture. Sorry, Jack, you don't get to sit down right away.
We can be on the front.
Okay. Thank you. Jack and I have worked together for just over 5 years, and from day one, when I arrived at the county, so supportive. And that's just how he has been his entire career. So thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add just real quick here, Jack. Hey, Jack.
Oh, you have another
Oh,
one.
that's right. Yes. I'm sorry. And I don't have a prepared speech for this, but we do have a gentleman here who has been with the county for 25 years as well and doing an absolute fantastic job in our Department of Public Safety. And it's Mike Snyder and his boss, Bob, is here. If you guys would like to come up. I think we have some family.
Well,
25 years.
25
feels like
years,
yesterday,
yeah.
right?
Certainly Mike was destined for public safety, I think, growing up in the firehouse. His dad drove engine for Carlisle. So he has been in the public service for really all of his life. But 25 years has certainly been a long time. Started in the 911 center, worked his way up through supervisor, manager, is now deputy director of 911 operations. So we can't say enough about all that, but he also does quite a bit, has been several different administrative officers with the fire company, community service, special teams response, really an innovator and change agent, the Avive AED program, the crisis team leader, a lot of work with mental health and mental health response. So we can't say enough about all the programs that Mike has been instrumental in. So thank you, Mike, and keep up the good work.
Absolutely.
And then on the home front, his wife Jenny's here, his daughter Abigail, and then twins, Jackson and Megan. So he certainly is busy both at work and home. So.
Well, Mike, I don't know how you've been able to do that whirlwind, and every time I go out to public safety, I'm always blown away by all of the multiple things that you're managing on behalf of the county, and deeply appreciate all that you do. So we will get a few pictures here, and then we will have Jenny come up as well. So I just have a little card here.
Congratulations, Mike, and thank you. And you know, you're smart. You're really smart. Probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I think one of the reasons that you are so good at everything you touch is you have a level of emotional intelligence that most people don't. And I'm so glad that you are dedicated to public service and that you are on our team. And but I remember the day that you came to a meeting where we talked with PennDOT about an intersection, and you knew so much about that piece of material, and you handled things so well, and I will never forget that. I'm so grateful that you were there. Thank you.
I would like to say a few words. I want to make sure to just acknowledge this midpoint in my career. So I want to thank Bob for being an excellent leader for us for the past 10 years and beyond. He is a great mentor and allows us to try the innovative things, knowing that there's a possibility of failure, and still supports us in those failures, because that's truly something that you have to do to innovate, and allows us to fail with dignity and grace and move on and try something different that might work a little bit better. It can be more difficult to work for the 60 or so people that happen to fall under me in the org chart, because a lot of people have different expectations. But I think that as we try to communicate to all of our folks what the mission is and what the vision is, and try to get everybody on the same page, we have a really great team here at Cumberland County, and it's really great to work across departments, whether it's with mental health or children and youth or all the things that we touch and have an impact on, and it's really an honor to work here. I do want to say that I appreciate everything that my wife does do for us. I think that sometimes I have the easier job leaving her home with the children every day, less stress coming to work. But it's been an honor to work here, and thank you for your support and words of wisdom and kindness.
We got a couple here and then you.
You doing one?
Yeah, we'll do one with this, then
Okay.
when I say one, I mean many. Okay.
All right.
Now,
Perfect, Jenny, come on.
Without, all.
yeah, I got it.
You look like Christmas.
I get everyone to do like stuff that way. Sorry, just off center. Perfect.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yes. All right.
Back on in a minute.
Bye, everybody. Thank you all for coming to support your colleague. That will take us into the consent agenda, and I will turn that over to our chief clerk.
Thank you, Commissioner. So the consent agenda is a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature and which seem to not require any additional discussion. If discussion is desired on any particular item, any member of the Board of Commissioners of the public may request that the item be removed from the consent agenda, and that item would be considered separately prior to the regular agenda. And then the remaining items would be acted upon through one motion. Are there any requests to?
Yes,
No.
I would like item 7 handled separately.
Okay, so commissioners, the consent agenda is agenda item number 6, and then agenda items numbers 8 through 19, which require action.
Okay. So I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so that then takes us to agenda item number 7, which would be discussion and approval of personnel transactions.
Okay, I'll once again, I'm going to object to the expansion positions of CY 2081, CY 2080, CY 2079, CY 3024, CY 3023. I support all the other positions.
I have a question. It was my understanding that not all of those positions are expansion positions, that some of them are backfill.
It would appear that 2081 is a transfer promotion. So I'm not exactly,
Well, I'm relying on the information supplied to me by HR. I'm looking right at it. So,
hey, Gary, we held a salary board session the other day, which you elected not to participate in.
no, I was occupied with another meeting.
You were at a holiday party, as I left.
I was there, and then I proceeded with a meeting. So
We had discussion around this, and there is a mixed bag in here. If you are objecting to all of them and just us continuing to operate children and youth in a manner which serves the children and families of Cumberland County, we can move forward. We will accept your
If
approval.
if you could identify which ones are the expansion positions, because apparently the information provided to me by HR is incorrect. So those are the ones that I'm not supporting right now. The other positions we're backfilling.
I don't get this. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I've asked you at every time you've done this, which children would you like to have suffer from abuse and neglect? Because you don't support children and youth. I mean, you just don't support children. But if I had such a zeal for not supporting these positions, I know which ones they were. I wouldn't have to reach out to HR and then try to throw them under the bus during a public meeting.
They have,
Like, I would know what I didn't want to do and why I didn't want to do it, and I would be able to identify my positions.
my
It's
position
just a
is I'm not
game. You're a
supporting
game player
I'm not
and you
supporting
hate
the expansion
kids.
plan at this point. That's
Are you ready?
So, well, Jean, I did want to
Yeah.
recap this every time this comes up. This
consistent.
plan was laid, yes, because when you find yourself in a hole, you just keep digging. However, this plan had been laid out by the folks from Children and Youth very clearly. I pulled that plan and in fact, was doing a little bit more research. When fully implemented, and this was approved by the state for funding, and again, this funding for these positions, it's not even 20%. Historically, it's been our responsibility has been between 16 and 18% of total salaries. This plan had been laid out, approved for 2 years, and was properly identified what needs were going to be going forward. The department head has indicated that this is the time, these are the needs. We are seeing an expansion in our children and youth dramatically. And the cost that was all in total for these positions was $725,000, roughly $466,000. The county's portion of that full cost all in, that includes salary, benefits, pension, $145,000 for a multitude of positions that are absolutely necessary to make sure that children in this county are taken care of. And I continue to find it ironic when over the past 3 years, Commissioner Eichelberger has supported an expansion of a minimum, on average, it was 40 new positions a year. We are currently in this calendar year, we are up to 25 positions, 16 of which are either fully funded through grants or majority funded from this type of a funding arrangement. So it just continues, and you're right, Gary, you are consistent and you continue to defy logic as it relates to this. And if that's all I can say.
well,
So
this much I'm going to say. I'm not going to speak extensively on this, but here's the fact. You continue to continue to defend it with partial truths and lack of context. All that aside, the point is we still live in a free country. You are free to vote yes, and I am free to vote no for all the reasons that I have covered previously. So that those positions, those new positions.
At some point, I think you owe the public a real explanation other than you have dug your heels in. Jean, would you like to make a motion?
And that's all it is. It's a digging in of heels rather than really looking at the budget and looking what needs to be done and behaving as a leader. I mean, that is not going on with you, Gary. And are you on vacation again? You're on vacation again.
Look at this.
It's unbelievable. You don't show up at meetings, you don't come and do the work, and you're on vacation again.
I have
that is amazing.
Travel plans for the holidays.
I'm gonna move to approve.
No,
it's moved. I will second. It's moved in second.
I am actually attending a meeting when I'm on vacation, which neither of you.
I'm in favor. Aye.
I support all positions,
Gary,
except the ones that are enunciated.
I think we're ready to move on.
We are ready to move on.
Of course you are.
So now, next up, show up, do the work, Gary.
Yeah,
Next
where are
up,
you
we
when I'm in
have
the
a-
office and you're not there?
Gary, please.
Gary, vacation again.
Yes, I have holiday travel plans.
Must be nice, man.
Okay.
be nice.
And the one day that you were in the office and I was not, I was out on
Okay.
meetings and came back and you were not
It
here.
must be
So
nice to have
your 2.5 days is getting pretty challenging.
been
for
on
you,
the
I
public
understand.
dole for 21 years and take all these vacations.
You know,
and
it's
so
always
show
very
off.
interesting to
Nice.
listen to the two of you talk about
Nice.
emotional intelligence
You ready?
and to act like a
Yeah,
bunch of
ready?
little school.
I am ready.
All right.
So if we have to mute it, we will. So now we need to go into the public hearing related to the comprehensive plan. And with us, we have Steve Hoffman from our planning department. And I believe, Steve, I'm sorry. Stacy, am I taking?
No, got my feet up over here.
I believe Steve is gonna lead us through this.
Happy holidays.
Hi, Steve.
Thanks for having me, guys. Our current comprehensive plan was adopted in 2017.
Or did you, I'm sorry, I apologize. Did you
Yeah.
convene it?
I did not.
Okay.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Did you? Okay, I apologize. Steve, I'm so terrible. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, so this is the public hearing portion that we are opening. Correct.
Okay. Do I need to?
Yeah.
You can just speak.
Okay. So current comprehensive plan was adopted in 2017. It's required by the state that we update the plan every 10 years. So Kirk, mostly Kirk, a lot of us in the staff have been working together on updating the new plan. We have received a lot of feedback on the plan. We've talked to municipalities, schools, stakeholders. We've held interviews with other stakeholders, and we've also done a public survey. So a lot of feedback from the public. What we've created is a plan that incorporates smart growth principles. So instead of calling them smart growth principles, we've named them Cumberland principles. And so the county is going to use those principles to guide new ordinance amendments, municipal comprehensive plans and plan amendments to help guide. So we offer recommendation and suggestion when we do our reviews, and our suggestions will be based on those principles to guide growth smartly. We've already received approval by the Cumberland County Planning Commission, a recommendation for approval, and at this time we're recommending adoption of the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. So Steve has made his presentation, and would there be any commissioner or other staff comments or questions at this time? The only comment, Jean, go ahead.
I've read it. I think it's so well done. And the amount of work that went into it is phenomenal. And the amount of public feedback is phenomenal. And I am very appreciative, Steve, of the piece on water. Right, there's a lot moving in our county in terms of that. And this was, and we were ahead of that, right, in terms of the
And
comprehensive.
there's more to come this year on just water alone.
Yes,
More to come.
I am in favor most certainly of our new comprehensive plan.
And the only comment then that I would make to that is, having served as liaison to the planning commission board, I've kind of watched this through its whole progress. And to say that it took a lot of effort from a lot of people is actually an understatement. And the way that you and Kirk and everyone engaged around it, the revisions and to get it to this final format, really, really well done, and appreciate all that effort. There is now.
Yeah, I do have a question or two.
Okay,
Steve, I'll add my comments in support there. I just went back and reread it this morning to see if I had any specific questions, and I have no real questions. It is very well done. I like the fact that it is incorporating some of the greater emphasis on some of the issues that are facing us, that are growth issues that are now surfacing. The water issue is one of them. And it does point to a lot of ongoing and past efforts and pulling those together as part of the comp plan, which is the correct way to do things. But I have one question, I guess, for you. Could you, or Kirk, or whomever, summarize just in very, very briefly how this plan differs than the one that's currently in place? Just a bit, 30,000 foot overview of what has changed.
So, Gary, the current comprehensive plan, I think we have 12 different land uses on the future land use map.
Yeah.
And we go into a lot of detail on which land uses should be provided in each of those character areas. What we've done with this plan is kind of step back from that. The municipalities are the ones who govern land use in the state of Pennsylvania. And so when we sat down and began this process, we said, hey, you know what? Those specific land uses that we had listed, let's leave those to the municipalities. We're kind of stepping out of our area anyway. So instead of having specific land uses in each area, we just kind of have generalized statements, kind of like maybe retail-oriented land uses. It's much broader, as is the county. The area of the county is broader. So we kind of take a step back, look at things on a broader approach. And because of that, we narrowed down our character areas. I forget the number that was in the first one, but we've reduced it way down. We only have, I think, 6 character areas in the new plan. We've also taken our actions, and same thing. We have, in the old plan, Gary, we had 113 actions. We now have down to 8 principles. And we're going to use those principles when amendments come into zoning. So that's how we're going to kind of guide the growth based on those 8 principles.
Thank you, Steve.
Mhm.
I've seen that come into play already with some of the plans that you're looking at and some of the new uses that are being proposed across different municipalities. So it's really by kind of going back, zooming back out to 30,000 feet, I think you're giving good general guide. It gives good.
Also, I'm working with a few municipalities right now on writing their comprehensive plan, which will go into much more detail. And those municipalities are very willing and excited to start with our same principles.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But they're actually going to dive more into specific land uses and areas, kind of like their zoning map. But it's not a zoning map, it's just a future land use map.
Perfect. If there are no other questions then from the commissioners or staff comments, we will open it up to public comment. And I believe we have the chair of the Planning Commission here with us. And didn't know, Tim, if you had any comments you were wanting to make.
Yeah, so again, Tim Johnson, I'm the current chair of the Planning Commission. And I did just want to kind of come and show support, obviously, not just for the plan itself, but for all the work that Steve and his staff and the planning department put into it. The support that we got from you guys along the way is the commissioner liaisons. And I think that what I'm most proud of in the plan, I mean, Steve spoke to the engagement process and reaching out and reaching every different sector of, the general public, industry, other public entities, adjacent counties, to get that kind of input. But what I'm really proud of with the plan is that we actually have like a prove it that we included in the plan, where if we receive feedback, we made sure to make note of that on the plan to explain the basis for the decisions that were made that went into the final document, which I think is a pretty cool and kind of a unique thing. You don't normally have the show me in addition to the, we're going out, we're doing our public engagement exercise. And then of course, making it more consumable, making it more scaled down. That's the trend nowadays with any kind of planning document, to make it more actionable. These are all good things. And hopefully today is the start of, being able to put that plan into practice and make it actually, beneficial, constructive for the people that provide all the input into it. So thank you to everybody for all your support.
Thank you. And thank you for taking time to be here. Appreciate that. Were there any other public comments that at this time that anyone wanted to make? Is there anyone online that was looking to make? Okay. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Yeah.
I'll take a
Fairchild?
hot seat.
Yeah.
My name hasn't changed. I'm Eric Fairchild from Cumberland Township, just speaking as a citizen, not as a commissioner. when Phil and I we were reviewing the comprehensive plan and the future land use map, we noticed an issue where in our area in McCormick Road, there's a 71.8 acre parcel that was designated in the future use as suburban. And it's a farm tract of land that's in the ASA that's also in our historic district. So we didn't know how to resolve that. Steve was kind enough to talk to us ahead of the meeting, and our own staff, I think they're working together. Could be a possible future amendment, to correct that, which I'm happy to see. And I feel like we're new as commissioners, but I wish our staff would have brought the plan to us to review, township level, because then we could have, know more and then maybe communicated the things we saw, at an earlier time. But I'm been attuned to these developers coming before us, and they all look at this future land use categories and map and say, well, we're consistent with that. And a month or so ago, I attended a Middlesex township hearing on future land use change. Met Mr. Brenneman, who has many hats. So I am interested in the subject and I just feel there just needs to be a public airing when those changes. And it probably is a good policy direction to maybe move away from that, because I certainly don't like the developers trying to lock us in to somebody's designation. And it's a big county. I can't imagine trying to determine, everything. So I can understand a lot of that. But the big issue, and I don't want to preach too long or anything, I see, and I had been on the West Shore School Board and the VOTEC board. VOTEC board is the best position of all to work with all those school districts to get a bigger perspective. But I see a disconnect in the impact of the development on the school districts. And all the developers will say, well, my project doesn't do much, not much impact, but cumulative, they all add up. And that's the big tax bill we all pay. And my own school district or Upper Allen is Mechanicsburg School District. And then in the last 10 years there, I look as much not at the tax rate as the debt level they're taking on, and they've gone up $110 million in debt, just 10 years. And I think it's largely from Winding Hills, Orchard Glen, and then Legacy Park. And it's just this Tusami, or it just adds up. And I just think somebody probably at the county level needs to take a closer look as they pile on, each development project to try to alleviate that. And then Phil and I are both interested in history. And when you look, Mr. Brennan maybe heard this last month, when you look at the historical marker for Levittown, PA, Bucks County, it was a fully planned community. And when you look on the maps, you will see that the Levitts, they built the schools within the development. And nowadays we don't do that. We maybe do a study or what our impact's going to be, but we're not funding it. The developers aren't funding the schools. And in addition to the money, what I heard at Middlesex and what's happening in at Middlesex, one of the gentlemen said at the hearing, Middlesex Elementary was a 4, on the great schools rating on Zillow that people look at when they maybe want to buy a home. Not that it's maybe the best measure, but it's objective or independent. So, Middlesex Elementary was a 4. Are we going for a 2? I mean, you want to go toward a 10, not toward 0. So we have in our own school district, Shepherdstown Elementary, last time I looked, was a 4. And so there's a bigger impact, not just finance, but the educational aspect. So that's kind of where I'd like to just draw your attention to. But great job. The plans are very helpful. Let you know where you're going and all that. Without a plan, it's pretty hard to get there. So thank you.
Thank you. Walsh.
Phil Walsh, speaking as an Upper Allen resident, not as a commissioner, but I would again like to echo Mr. Fairchild's remarks. I just wanted to briefly touch on a specific property that was that we noted had changed in the proposed land use map, and that is 240 McCormick Road. Now, my phone's going to be too small for you to see this, but I'm going to try regardless. What we have here is a a unique property in that it is entirely enclosed by an ASA, Agricultural Security Area. It's entirely enclosed by the Historic District. And it's the gateway to the Yellow Breeches Scenic River. The Yellow Breeches as designated scenic river. And this property is the cornerstone of all of these districts, and the scenic river and the ASA all tie together. And this is sort of the cornerstone property of these. Their property was previously designated as agricultural. The future land use map now shows it as being suburban. I spoke with the owner of the property, and he is adamant that he would prefer to be the rural designation, not the suburban designation, as it is still used for agricultural purposes and was previously identified as a high quality agricultural property. So my hope is that this sort of gateway to all these wonderful things property would be reconsidered in a future amendment, as instead of suburban being designated rural. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? We can close the hearing on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so that takes us then to the regular agenda, which is a list of non-routine items that will be discussed and may be acted upon individually. And first up, we have resolution 2024-40, which regarding approving the Cumberland County Comprehensive Plan for 2024.
Steve, did you want to add anything else to that at this time? Or?
No, I can maybe, if I can speak to Mr. Walsh. He's been in touch with Kirk, and I actually touched base with him here this morning. And what we're hoping is that we can get the comprehensive plan adopted today. And then, because it's already been advertised, it's in the process. And Kirk and I will work on revising the plan to show his property in rural rather than suburban, because it is a farm area. Make that change and then do a revision to the land use map.
Yeah, it's not material to the overall. I know it's very material to the folks in that community. It's not as material to the overall.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, we're looking at the whole county, and it's
Right.
really hard to look at each individual parcel.
Absolutely. There's a lot of them out there.
There are.
Well, no. All right. Jean, if you would like to make a motion.
Yeah, I will move to approve resolution 2024-40, approving the Cumberland County Comprehensive Plan 2024.
I will second for ease of functioning.
Yeah.
So it's moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right.
Thank you. That takes us then to agenda item 22, which is discussion and approval of the Penn State Ag Extension Contract Addendum for planning. I'm actually going to speak about this one. This is an addendum to the contract that was approved back in October. It makes a minor change to the budget and shifts some of what was included in the budget that we would be paying by invoice. It shifts that to employee positions. Any questions?
None?
No, and I will move to approve.
It's moved. I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, commissioners. That takes us then to agenda item 23. We have Jamie Reiber joining us to discuss a contract for children and youth. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning. This is for an addendum for Pinckney's Vineyard of Faith Ministries. They are a home for pregnant and young mothers. The one rate was approved at a different level when the state packet came back. So instead of $239.07, it was approved at $239.05. So we are just amending the contract to reflect that change.
Time where 2 cents is making you a little bit of an issue.
Any questions for Jamie?
No, but I will move to approve.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jamie. That takes us to agenda item 24. We have Holly Sherman here to discuss a contract with the Daring Consulting Group. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning. The contract before you is for the 2025 retainer with Daring Consulting to continue to develop our training and talent development program with a focus on leadership as we have in past years, but now shifting more to the emerging leaders. So it's an amount of $96,980 for the entire year. And again, I just want to mention that in this contract, which is different from prior years, is that we will be moving some of the content from Daring facilitation to in-house Cumberland County facilitation as well.
And Holly, if I understand correctly, a component of that is they are no longer doing the DEI training that had been done previously. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I will move to approve.
I will second. Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 All right, thanks, Holly. That takes us then to agenda item 25. We have Bob Shively on Zoom to discuss the Lumen contract.
Good morning. Again, Commissioners, requesting your approval to renew the annual contract with Lumen for our fiber internet connectivity for the 911 center, which provides the public safety VPN, network motion application or net motion application, mobile for public safety, which is the CAD for police application, our partner agency report exports, and the CAD network services as needed. The cost is $12,480, and that's actually a $120 decrease from last year. Any questions?
And I will move to approve.
Okay.
I will second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
We have John Bittner here in the room with us to discuss and seek approval for a grant acceptance.
A very festive
Yes.
John Bittner, I may add. Yeah.
Gotta live it up while you can. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Scrooge. So this was the 2025 mosquito-borne disease control grant. It's $10,000 less than last year because last year we had a specialized item that was included in the grant. So this year or next year's total is $121,451. It will cover all of the costs associated with West Nile mosquitoes for 9 months.
Cool. Very good.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. This is everything we do is so important. This is such an important program. Thank you. And I will move to approve.
Thanks for your support.
Second.
Okay, Gary second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Thanks, John. That takes us to agenda item 27, which is discussion and approval of the allocation and program proposal of the opioid settlement funds for 2025 through 2028 plan years. And we have Jeff Jennifer to discuss with us.
It's a last hurrah.
And I have a few slides to share with you to walk through this. You can just scroll to the second slide. So on this slide, you see a summary of the programs, the opioid mitigation programs that the commissioners have already committed funds for. And just a quick review, it includes the medication assisted treatment program at Cumberland County Prison, sharing the cost of an opioid mitigation coordinator with Perry County, a portion of the cost of the 3 Cumberland County problem solvers, the treatment court, overdose intervention court, and Tom's mental health court. The portion is based on the percentage of participants in those courts that have opioid use disorders. A portion of costs to contribute to evidence-based drug and alcohol prevention services provided to the school districts in Cumberland County, and a portion of the costs of drug and alcohol student assistance services for schools as well. Those are early intervention services for youth. And then finally, a pool of funds to supplement the available state and federal funding to cover the cost of opioid use disorder treatment. The total funds committed are $1.3 million. That's against the $1.5 million that the county has received in its first three payments from the opioid settlement.
And Jack, just for clarity as well, the prison MAT program is something that is not elective for the county to participate in. It is a requirement that we
Yeah, there have
provide.
been recent legal mandates that have indicated that if an individual is admitted to prison on a form of MAT, it's the responsibility of the prison to continue them on that same form of MAT. And more recent legal cases that have indicated that if somebody arrives at the prison with an opioid use disorder and expresses interest in accessing a form of medication-assisted treatment, that the prison must accommodate that.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Any other questions about this summary of the current? So moving on to the next slide. In looking at these programs, we've projected the cost of continuing them for calendar year 2025, and that would be $1.6 million, specifically $1,634,762. The funds are available for that. Cumberland County just received its payments for its next set of opioid settlement payments. It includes the fourth payment of wave 1. It also includes the first and second payments of wave 2. The total amount received is over $2.7 million. That seems like a lot, but the payments received in this December include an excessive amount, and in following years they're not going to be the same. The third point on this slide indicates that the estimated December payments for calendar years 25, 26, and 27 will average just over $1 million, as opposed to the 2.7 just received. In contrast, the projected annual cost of continuing the currently approved programs will average 1.7 million in calendar years 26 through 28. Move on to the next slide. There is one difference with the funds we just received. Up until now, the Wave 1 funds have had an 18-month spend or commit requirement. A large portion of the Wave 2 funds have a different spend by requirement, 42 months or 3.5 years as opposed to a year and a half. We are collecting performance data on all the currently funded programs, and that will inform our decisions on whether to continue funding them and at what levels. We're going to be looking for positive metrics to be able to justify continued funding for each of those programs. Another thing to take into consideration, all of our expenditures must be approved by the State Opioid Trust. If they would reject any of our programs, those funds, of course, could be repurposed. We do expect that there will be a wave 3 of settlement payments. The negotiations with Purdue Pharmaceutical and the Sackler family have been going on for years. We still don't know when they will be settled, but certainly there will be another settlement and there will be some additional funds. In addition, there have been 2 smaller opioid settlements that are currently in process, and these are likely to result in some additional funding to Cumberland County. So our recommendations to you this morning are to continue the currently approved mitigation programs listed on the second slide for the next 4 years, calendar years 25, 26, 27, and 28, with budget approvals on an annual basis. And then to closely monitor the expenditures and the service delivery for each of those programs. We are required to do expenditure reports to the state opioid trust every 6 months. And what we're proposing is that we also have 6-month progress reports or updates to the Board of Commissioners. And that we will then, based on program performance, adjust allocations as necessary. And then the final part of the recommendation is to defer funding any additional programs at this time. Questions or comments?
Just want to thank you, Jack, for the time and effort that you've put into establishing this. I know this has been, it's been a huge blessing to help cover. The programs are very expensive, very needed. And so I appreciate all the work that you've put into being very thoughtful and methodical about how these funds are deployed to do the most good.
Thank you for the thank you. It was shared with Ryan and Morgan. A lot of the heavy.
Yes, the mathematics. So I don't have any questions, and I will move to approve the allocation and program proposal of opioid settlement funds for the 2025 through 2020 year plan years.
A second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, Commissioners. That takes us then to agenda item 28, which is Commissioners' liaison reports.
Yes, so it was, it's been a busy couple weeks, as usual, I guess. I attended the Dogwood ribbon cutting, an open house, and that was an interesting story. Engineering firm had moved out of Cumberland County and was happy to move back in a beautiful building off of the Wardsville Road that you can, I think from the top, you can see the Susquehanna River practically. It's gorgeous. I attended the Carlisle Chamber holiday party and a reception that was hosted by the president of Shippensburg University at the president's home for the community leaders, which was a great opportunity to talk with him. Jean, I know both you and I attended the Asian Indian Association of Central Pennsylvania's gala dinner, and it was an evening of lively dancing and dress. It was and wonderful food. So we really enjoyed being part of that community for the evening. Attended the Catalyst Award, which was a wonderful celebration of individuals from various sectors. There was a volunteer of the award, a community, government leaders of the year award, diversity, influencer, entrepreneurs, small business. And that was an event that was sponsored by Creedic and really very, very well done at the Hilton. It was great to be amongst so many business owners once again. I attended Cadix Holiday Open House and left to return to our meeting and had some wonderful interaction with some board members there. Cadix is not holding in-person board sessions, and I think that that's something that needs to be considered because it was nice to meet with some of the other board members face to face, and that hasn't happened. So hopefully we can change that. Jack had a wonderful celebration, and we were happy, both Commissioner Fasci and I were happy to attend that. I had a Tri-County Community Action Board meeting, and Angela Smizer is actually serving to our board as to that board in her training, and was asked to join a call with Congressman Reschenthaler, and I know I'm butchering it. He's from Western Pennsylvania, and he is in charge of the Appropriations Committee, and so he serves on the Appropriations Committee in Congress, and they were seeking feedback for some of the extraneous costs that people incurred, counties specifically incurred for elections. So was able to share with him some of the unusual things that we had to do in order to make sure that we had a safe, secure, and accurate election this year. Hopefully, there will be additional funding coming from the federal government to the state that would help us with those. Additionally, I attended the Tom's Court graduation ceremony, and it was a lovely story of a woman who I think her life was drastically changed by the way that our court community and resources helped to do that. Quite frankly, it was very heart wrenching stories. I attended the Creedic and Harrisburg Chamber, their joint board meeting, and they shared their strategy and plan for 2025. Again, just really laying out a very solid plan for that organization. Our Ag board meeting was canceled this month, and I had the planning board meeting just this morning. Those, of course, anyone that may want to see those notes are available on our, the meeting minutes are available on our website. But during today's meeting, they approved Mary Kuna presented on 2 blighted properties in Lemoyne, and both were approved to be certified as blighted. I want to say thank you publicly to Heather Schweitzer for her service to the board. In our agenda, we approved some new folks that are coming onto the board, the new positions, and Heather had served very, very capably. I think she chaired the committee for a time as well. So thank you out to Heather. The group provided some consistency letters for projects around the county, and that's going to be where our comprehensive plan really comes into play, is when they're asked to provide consistency letters with that, and I think that will be very helpful going forward. Kirk did update that they're looking at a source water supply plan for the county, and it will identify protected wellheads along with critical aquifer recharge areas, and getting a lot of help from the Susquehanna River Basin Commission. And so I'm looking forward to that. I know Commissioner Fashi, we attended a meeting kind of starting this process, and I think it's going to be very critical as you have said, as it relates to water for our county moving forward. And ultimately, our group will be end up working with the municipalities to try and put some good solid plans in place. And I believe that is it for my update.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fashi.
Well, good morning, Cumberland County. Boy, I'd remind you to use the Cumberland County library system. You know, it's just, our municipal libraries are fantastic. So many things to learn, so many things to do. I know my kids are going into 2 weeks of time off from school. So lots of good library programming for all of us. So December 7th, I went to the Himalayan Taekwondo Inter-School Championship. And you know what is super cool is being invited to attend that as a representative of Cumberland County, and boy, watching kids really being involved in a martial art, and the discipline that is involved in that, and the community coming together. And they have a really fabulous demo team. So I enjoyed their demo, I enjoyed their sparring. It was fun. That was a good thing.
Did they pull you in the ring?
They did not pull me in the ring. They are so, the way that they judge is so, they look so professional. So they all wear suits and sneakers, and they judge, kind of like, have you ever seen Kill Bill? Volume 1? Yeah. Okay, that's, they're very serious. So that was, but it's awesome. But the one of the masters there, she and her husband are both masters. He is almost 80. She is in her 70s, and they move like much younger people. And so it's such a great life sport. And I'm so glad there are so many places in this region where people can go and practice and learn martial arts, because it is a life sport. So it's a good thing. So I'm so glad they're in the community. You talked about the AICPA dinner. December 9th, I went out to the Western Cog, and John Miserak from Brightspeed was there. And he talked about the federal government approving the BEAD locations on November 10th. So Brightspeed intends to bid on locations in Cook, Dickinson, Southampton, South Newton, Penn, and West Pennsboro townships for BEAD grant monies. The deadline to apply is January 20th, and the awarding of the funds will happen sometime in midsummer. But boy, they were excited by that, particularly Cook. Cook was thrilled. They're also, Western Cog is putting together some LTAP trainings. So the classes she requested, and this one I love, are draining, the key to roads that last. Roadside safety features, stop signs and intersection traffic control, and temporary traffic controls. Penn State Health is also offering Stop the Bleed training. So if anyone wants to attend, we let Karen know, and the trainings will be held at West Pennsboro Township. But what a great thing for the Western Cog to be doing and working on. Conservation District met on December 10th, and from October 15th to December 3rd, there were 93 requests for assistance from the Cumberland County Conservation District.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they are so busy. They are so busy. They work so hard. They do great things to protect soil and water in our county, and that's a tremendous amount of requests. They're working on their new cover crop signage that's going to go on the farms that are part of the cover crop program. I like them. They're still working on them, but very nice, very nice. Lots of good things going on at conservation. And in January, they have their annual meeting that is for the entire morning. So the board meets, and then people with our partner agencies really dig into the work that they're doing. So that will be great. And I'm sure everyone received their conservation calendar for next year. Good. And then finally, December 15th, I was at the Friends of Simpson Library at the ribbon cutting of their new book sale building. And boy, was that great. They had I was there in July. It was one of the hottest days when they did the groundbreaking, and the work they did in such a small amount of time is unbelievable. But there will be meeting rooms, like the board will actually be able to have a meeting room there. So that was very exciting, and I was very glad to participate. And I think that's all I have. Thanks. Thank you.
Commissioner Unkelberger.
Okay, just briefly, I hope Jack is still there in the room. I didn't get a chance to speak earlier, and just wanted to acknowledge. Yeah, Jack, I wanted to acknowledge your service there. You and I have had a chance to work together for a very long time here, and wanted to add my thanks to you for great service to the county. I've always respected the number of things about you, the depth of knowledge that you always bring to any of the discussions of these issues, your willingness to be very forthcoming and thorough in answering commissioner questions, which I know you receive a lot of over the years. And just the thing that matters most is just the heartfelt commitment to your service and your department, and those things are exceedingly valuable. I apologize, I was not able to attend your retirement function. I had a medical commitment that very hard to schedule. So, but I wanted to be there, and really just hope everybody had a good chance to tell you how much you've meant to them and to the counties in terms of your service. So I wish you well in your retirement. So with that, I'll just move into quickly into what I have here. The Monday night the recycling committee met, and some of which will be coming before us. They did make recommendations in terms of appointments for the new members and the reappointment of one member to the committee, and that's going to be coming forward if it hasn't already been forwarded. We'll be getting that soon for Board of Commissioner approval. The authority also recommended, in regards to the yard waste program, there was a considerable amount of discussion. We had some municipal participation as well. There's a feeling right now that our hope resolution or a resolution soon is maybe a little optimistic. There's some more information gathering that's going on, and the decision was made to defer any action on that. I know the commissioners have an interest in determining the outcome of the yard equipment and how that's going to be transferred, but there's still some homework to be done there by Hampton Township, which is promoting the idea of a new municipal authority that would take the program over somewhat intact. In the interim, we've had a lot of municipalities find other options, and some of whom have decided that they're not necessarily into the idea as much as they were of the municipal authority, but we don't have any definitive yay or nay from a bunch of the municipalities who were anticipated to be in that. So we're going to take a little bit of time, maybe circle back around, gather some data from them, ask Hampton to come up with a little more detail on what exactly it's proposing before any commitments will come to the commissioners for approval. So the authority evaluated the 2024 electronics recycling program data. This was highly anticipated since, as you'll recall, Goodwill has gotten into the electronics recycling space as well. We've been monitoring that to see if that was going to have a material impact on us. And it's so far been, I believe, fairly minimal. Financial realities there in terms of what it costs to provide the service, and those may need to be addressed, but they're still debating that. So the authority also evaluated its 2024 household hazardous waste program. They looked at the data they had, made a recommendation for 2025, which staff will be bringing to the Board of Commissioners in the new year for approval. The only other thing I have right now is MHIDD meeting is this afternoon. I'll be attending that. And I don't think there's anything particularly new there that we haven't already been briefed on. So if there's anything outstanding that comes out of that that's additive, I will be sure to circulate that in an email update. That is everything I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. That takes us then to agenda item 29, which is report of executive sessions. And I would like to report that on December 12, 2024 at 9:30 a.m., there was an executive session regarding personnel. And now I will ask if there is any other business to come before the board today. Hearing none and seeing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.